And here we are. And just like that, season 3, episode 2, the rat race. And what do we get for this episode? We get a finger, a predator, the Antichrist, and I want to say a wolf and some rats and Dick and Mortar. I'm sure I'm missing one of the other puns, but if I remember it, I will let you know. But that was it. That was the entire episode. Thank you for all watching. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for all subscribing. Have a nice day. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to go through this episode? Did you want me to explain what was going on in this episode? Okay, I'm just fair warning you right now. Fair warning. You've been warned. Let's get into it. I'm going to do this as I did before, character by character, because it's the only way I can remember any of this. And I think I'm single-handedly making this show #1 on HBO, because I've rewatched this so many times because I couldn't remember what incarnation is happening in this show. It is #1 on HBO. It's me. It's not you. It's me. Because I had to do this just to remember. So let's get into this. Charlotte and Lisa are officially tied to the hip. So much so that I don't even remember seeing Charlotte with any of the girls other than Anthony. This whole episode was about them trying to get their kids into an Ivy League school with a guidance counselor that's not part of the guidance counseling of the school, because they overheard some of the hyenas that were outside cackling, speaking about this counselor, and I swear it's something long fingerhood or something like that. Hence the finger. Charlotte and Lisa are trying to figure out why they're doing this, so they run into the principal's office, Pinky in the brain, and scare the principal to death, thinking that there was going to be a school tragedy, that he throws on his faculty vest and he starts cursing and blah, 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 blah. I feel like I'm listening to Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. And all I could hear is bits and pieces in between the language. What is the problem? And why do you have these big eyes, Charlotte? And I was like, what? So is he, what? Then he sits down and he's listening to him cackle about this situation with Long Fingerhood. I think that's her name. But remember, they coined the phrase, or he coined the phrase, the finger. So that's her name throughout the entire season or episode or whatever the hell's going on. Sorry, I didn't do it. This time I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It was him. It wasn't me. It was him. So now the finger is supposed to be this almighty guidance counselor to get these kids into these Ivy League schools, and that Charlotte and Lisa, or I should say Pinky in the brain, don't know why they're using this person outside of the guidance counselor that's in the school now. And then they both come to an epiphany that they're allowed to use this person, so they start tracking her down like a stalker in the woods. At the middle of this conversation with faculty, he points out that she's very difficult to get in touch with, which is part of the reason why there's finger in her name. I don't think that that's how it works. I think that your last name is your last name. I don't want to believe that she added finger to her name to coin the phrase finger. And he literally gave the finger. Okay. So then Pinky in the brain start to stalk this finger to find the finger to get to have her counsel their children to get into the Ivy League school the following year. So Charlotte and her assistant hack into her Instagram, creates a friend request, and Charlotte is being replaced by a bottle of wine or something, because most women will accept a friend request if your picture of a profile is a bottle of wine. And I think literally that's what she said. Now, I just want to fair warn you, okay, out there. Don't do that. Don't friend request me like that. I'm not going to do it. I don't know what's happening in their Ivy League, rich world, wine drinking, pinky in the brain storyline, but I'm not doing that. So scratch that off the list. They find her sitting in the bleachers for her son's baseball. And remember, this is during working hours. So I presume they didn't have time to change. So they saunter onto the baseball game wearing their daytime outfits for work, because that blends right in to everybody else that's sitting out there in their comfortable clothing, because they're not going to stick out like a sore thumb at all. And may I just say that I'm going to make this interjection. What is happening here? What is Lisa wearing? We have now left the era of the Flintstones, and now we're back into the 1990s, where I can just think, the minute I saw her, I thought of the Prince of Bel-Air, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That is exactly what she looks like in that time frame, in that ensemble that she's got going on. I'm like, oh my God, we went from the Flintstones to the 90s Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's the only thing immediately in my head. That's what I said. Nobody dresses like that. Not in this time era. Now, if you want to go back into time, great for you, but please stop. I don't think she wants to go back into. I think that these people think that she looks fashionable. She looks horrendous. You know what this show needs? And if anybody has seen this, and if you haven't, I recommend that you go into YouTube and you Google this. They need a Karen Walker from Will and Grace. That is who they need in the show. A true New Yorker with a New York attitude, and is going to tell you, honey, what's happening here? What's going on? We talked about this. No. Real friends don't let friends look like that. Now, it's cute if you want to do like a 90s throwback, or you want to, like, I don't know, so I'm going to be your Karen Walker. Whoever's doing this in the fashion, lightly loosed, you need to get an eye check, because that is not fashion. Not for an everyday look. They sit down next to the finger and they plead their case to have her counsel their children during the baseball game of her child, and she agrees to it. And then I think the next cut, there's something missing. They edited something out, because the next scene you see is Charlotte in a completely different outfit running over to her child, asking her, as she's making out with ballet guy in the stairwell of a public place, and where she gets offended that her mom is there. Not the fact that she's doing it in the hallway. No, because I guess there's no dark corners in this school. And offended that she showed up and ruined her jam with an attitude like this. Like, Mom, what are you doing here? I'm your mom. What are you doing? This girl needs a smack. She really does. Okay? Because if I ever spoke to that way to any one of my elders, parents, mother, grandmother, aunt, they would have been like, what? Check yourself. And Charlotte, true to form, is apologizing, because that's what she does. She placates these children, but she's in a completely different outfit. So you could have gone home and changed your outfit, but it's not to an outfit that's comfortable, like a nice pair of slacks, shorts, something with, no, full on pink glam again. Telling her that she needs to stop whatever she's doing on Friday, and that she needs to come to the house, because this counselor that they bribed pretty much to come and counsel them into this new Ivy League program. Okay. The next scene is Lisa in a completely different outfit again. So again, I don't know if this is the next day, trying to get onto her son's lacrosse game. And she looks like a bumbling idiot in a completely different outfit, letting the track runners run all over her, letting the balls hit her, and telling her son that she needs to do the same thing as what the other one needs to do. I don't know the purpose of the scene. I don't know if a day had passed. I don't know, because there's no time frame. I just feel like there was something was edited out, because I don't understand the costume changes. Why couldn't you wear something more comfortable to the baseball game and more in fashion? And then you go and change your outfit, and yet again, you're not in fashion. And you're running around the field, and you're running around ballet studios, and so there's no storyline. So the next scene, they're in, I want to say, Charlotte's house. I don't think it's Lisa's house. The finger showed up. She's behind closed doors talking to Lisa's son and Charlotte's daughter. And you just see them pacing, both in white, so they just blur each other out or cancel each other out. I don't know what they're wearing. All of a sudden, the counselor comes out and says, we'll talk. And I said, counselor, the finger. I have to keep calling her the finger because they keep calling her the finger. The finger. And then Charlotte and Lisa go into the room to see how it went with their children, and they're both hyperventilating in a bag because apparently the finger told them that they need to change everything about them completely. And when I tell you everything, I think she told Charlotte's daughter that she cannot say that she plays piano. Pretty much she says she's boring. She has no quirks. I guess they really haven't met her, because she's quirky all around. Maybe she didn't give her the attitude. Maybe, because that's quirky. She can't say that she plays piano. She can't say that she's Asian. I don't know how she's going to mask that. What, is there like a makeup routine that I'm not aware of that's going to hide the fact that she looks Asian? Please let me know and let me see the tutorial. I don't understand how not to look Asian. And that she can't say that she's adopted. So she is a non-piano playing, non-Asian, not adopted blank canvas. That's just her. The son is on the couch hyperventilating because apparently the finger told him that they need more authentic African American. Is there a list? What does that mean? How do you work with that? And then he gets upset. He asks his mom, am I not authentic? And I don't know. What does that mean? Is there a list? Is there a PDF coming along with this rant? Because I cannot even imagine saying that to someone. I don't know what that means. Like, what do you want him doing? Let me know what you thought that was about. And then obviously it gets Charlotte hyperventilating, and because the kids are panicking, she goes off on a F-bomb rant. F the finger lady, F the finger lady, F the finger lady. And then the finger lady comes out because she had only gone to the bathroom and overheard what Charlotte was saying and was like, yeah, okay, see, ya wouldn't want to be ya. And Charlotte and Lisa chase after her in their white ensemble. And I don't know if they're trying to kiss the finger ass. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I don't know how they were going to save this relationship if they were not happy with the way that they were treated with their children. So I presume that whole scenario about them getting into the Ivy League school and using the finger to help is dead. And that was it. That was the storyline. That's it. No Harry. No Lisa's husband. Nothing. Not even the other child, Rock. Nothing. That was it. Moving on. Anthony, for his 1 second cameo. This is where we get Dick and Mortar. Anthony has been graced by Charlotte's appearance next to him because Charlotte has been too busy playing with the finger. And he has been opening his new hot boy bread brick and mortar versus I think he was renting a place and he never had like a real place to like have his name and brand and all that. And he is trying to talk to Charlotte, who's obsessed with texting the finger. And finally, he tells her to hell with the finger. And I need you to pay attention to what I'm trying to show you. And he shows her his brand in front of a store. And I don't know, I guess she lost her memory somewhere along Fifth Avenue and the finger. And she tells him, oh my God, someone stole your name and your idea. And Anthony's like, in no uncertain terms, in the way I interpreted it was, you ding dong. No, hello, wake up. This is mine. I'm just showing you that I'm opening it. And then it hits her like, okay, maybe I haven't been around that much. And he says brick and mortar, or should I say dick and mortar. And then they show the inside, and the construction workers, of course, one of them has a crack, showing his crack, and because that's typical. And none of them are hot. And he's just going about his way, talking about how he's going to open his store, and he's got loaves of bread as, you know, like a sconce, and the door handles and the light fixtures and all the stuff. Congratulations, Anthony. Good luck. Bye. Next. God. Seema, Samantha 2.0. So we're still on this bandwagon that she's sort of looking for love in all the wrong places again, and she has dated every version of man, which apparently there are only 5 types in New York. So I will set the scene. She is in a restaurant with Miranda and Carrie, no Charlotte, just them. And she continues to think that there's a guy who's flirting with her, because Miranda says there's a guy flirting with her across the taco stand or whatever the hell they are in. And then she proceeds to say, nope, I've dated him. And Carrie's like, are you sure? Because you're squinting your eyes or some crap like that. I don't know. It's just talking at this point. And she says no, and that's when she says, I've dated these types of men before, and there's only 5 guys in New York. For all the 5 guys in New York, please stand up. I know I've dated at least 15 of them, but, you know, I could have dropped off. I had stopped dating in a while ago. So correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. And they have this ridiculous conversation about she's hate dating. And this is going to go into the conversation that Miranda starts when I go into the Miranda sequence, because you're going to love that one. And that they show her in scenarios, her rejecting men, I guess at a bar, that she scheduled a date to be with them. And you have the first guy who is I think a perpetual going to school who wants a mommy, and he has to be like 50 years old. And she tells him, no, thank you. Then we have Wolfman. And this is where I come with the wolf, who is wearing a black t-shirt at a bar with a dog tag, still probably 50 years old. And he is telling her his love story. And she's telling him, I've heard this before, and I know that you're going to stay with your wife, and then you're going to go back to her after you tell me you love me. I guess we've passed the courting stage. I don't know how much time she expects that to happen, but apparently since she's dated all these guys before, she knows. She knows so much that she knows that his real name is not Wolf, and that is either Dan or Stan. And of course, he admits that his name is Dan. So whenever I meet a Dan or Stan, you're screwed, because now I'm forever going to call you Wolf, because apparently only Dans and Stans are named Wolf. Now, I don't know the reference of why he was even naming himself Wolf, because it never really got into it with him. But apparently he admitted to this, and there goes the Wolfman. Bye. She sits down with another guy who I cannot remember what he's saying to her. I think he's saying that he tried to make it work with his ex-wife. It didn't work out. I think she cut him off and says, sure, this means that you are having an affair with a 27-year-old, and that this whole thing is just going to blow up, and you're going to ask me to pay half on this meal, and I will pay the $30 drink to tell you goodbye. Bye. And the last one, she didn't even give him 5 seconds. He sat down, said hello. She goes, no, thank you. And she walks away. So those are the 5, but she's only shown 4 men types that she has been rejecting in this lifetime. Okay. I'm having heart palpitations. So the next scene we have with her is sauntering into her office. She has a great walk. I give her that. But her acting is just so overdone. Apparently Wolfman wanted a second chance, and she tells the assistant, no. And, and when you yell at guys, they want to come back. And I don't understand what all this, and the answer is no. And who's directing her? And do you act like this for real? Like, not for real. Like, is this your mode of operation on other shows? I have not seen her or anything else, but I don't like the way she talks in this show. It's just, there's satire, there's funny, there's overacting, and they're just playing. Ugh. She's the latter, just so you know. Her partner sets her up because he's having a hard time accepting the fact that she keeps looking for a guy for over 30 years. I think it's a little bit more. I'm just saying. Tells her to meet someone at a restaurant and you'll be happy. Said no one ever. But okay, she goes. And she sits down and this woman comes by and she first thinks that she's there for a date, which is what I thought. I said, oh God, he's hooking her up with a woman. Are we going this way again now? And apparently, no, she's a matchmaker. I want to say Chertoff. And I only remember that because I know what the nickname is going to be by the end of the season or at the end of this episode. And she tells her that she's a matchmaker set up by her partner. And she tells her that I know you more than anyone else. And that she proceeds to tell her, please put yourself in my hands. And she starts to order for her where she knows what Samantha 2.0 knows what she orders, which could have been easily Googled, or the partner could have told her, I'm a New Yorker. You're not going to be sitting down telling me what you telling me I order. And I'm not going to be like, yeah, okay, how'd you get that information? You're not a witch. Are you a witch? You're not a witch. That doesn't impress me at all. It didn't apparently impress Seema. I'm like, snap out of it. This girl could have found this information anywhere. Apparently, she's a stalker too. Girl, you know better. Open your eyes. So she orders what she supposedly thinks that Seema would order. Seema allows her to continue this farce. And she tells Seema, one of the things I need you to do is change the way you dress. Here goes the fashion industry blow up. You wear metallics. That screams cold. Okay. All the metallics, jump out the window now. You wear animal prints, which screams predator. Okay. All animal prints, jump out the window. You just killed one of the major fashions, I guess. Now, I don't agree with all of the costumes that they put on her, but she's way better than what they do to Lisa. She has something. It's not always a hit, but it's better than whatever they're doing with, the Flintstones and the 1990s Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and, the towel hat and all the other crap that they've put on her. She's relatively nice. So she wants to, wash her out into like an Easter bunny. So the next scene, she has Seema going on one of the arranged dates with a guy relatively the same age. Oh, let me just start off by saying also, she also mentioned to Seema that, let me guess, you're 55, passing for 49. Hello, good skin. And then she has this nickname, Kitten. Okay. Second age reference. Here we go again. Sure. We'll go with that. So she puts her into this restaurant with this guy that she's matchmaking, and Seema doesn't even look like Seema. She straightened out her hair. She has pastels and pearls. I was shocked that she allowed that to happen. She sits down, and I have to give it to her. She was listening to this ding dong. I was bored after he opened his mouth. But she was literally listening to everything that he was saying about, oh yeah, sure, I think he's buying a brother or paying for a brother or something with a brother. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that Seema heard him and that he had said, oh, I've been doing all the talking and I really like to get to know you. And Seema says, well, you don't know me because this is not the real me. And she takes off her pearls and she tells him everything that was wrong with the date, starting off with she didn't like what he ordered. She didn't like the wine he chose, and the dessert was boring. And that he claims that he was happy that he heard this and that being truthful is sexy. And then he says, I'm going to the men's room. And I knew from that point he meant, you suck. I don't like you. I wanted to do all the talking and I never wanted to hear anything about you. And thank you. Have a nice day. Seema doesn't seem to see that. But guess what? Trick off. The matchmaker opens up the doors, comes out, and was watching them because that's what she does. It's all part of her matchmaking experience. I'm telling you now, I swear to you, don't do that to me. Anybody who knows me, if you don't know me, don't send me a number, don't send me a name, don't ask me, don't do it. I will freak out. I don't like you stalking me. I don't like you hooking me up. I don't like you thinking that you know me. And I know very well that you could easily find out all my information because I'm a public figure. Not me, but I'm saying for Seema. And she sits down and proceeds to tell her that he's not coming back. And Seema seems to be in denial. And she tells her that he texted her while he was pretending to go to the men's room, that he has enough, I want to say, complications at work, and this is not going to work out or something that affect. And then she tells Seema that she blew it. And so Seema blew her head and said, well, I don't like you. And I'm paraphrasing. And this is not a match. This is not who I am. And I'd rather be alone than deal with this crap. Well, finally. Now, do I believe that this is going to happen throughout the rest of the season? No, absolutely not. But at the very least, she told, and this is where the pun comes in, I don't think this is the jerk off experience. This is the jerk off experience. And I knew that was coming. They add these weird names so they can add these weird puns. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Did you not see it coming? And she walks out. And I guess Seema is going to figure it out like a grown-ass woman who is 55, passing for 49 with her metallics and her animal prints. She's going to do her. And well, you should. Because if you try to change someone to make them to be for someone else, then like she said, you don't know the real me. If she is really meek, kind, and sweet and whatever the fuck she tried to do with her, then okay. But that's like trying to change someone that's meek, quiet, and sweet into an animal predator. Okay? It's not, it goes both ways. You cannot do that. Stop it. So that was Seema. I guess we'll figure out what's going to happen to her while she's trying to figure out why she's still single. Ding dong number 3. Miranda. So Miranda is getting hooked on reality television, which is a running theme with her. If you've ever watched any of her in Sex and the City, she always had this watching dramedy, tittle tattle magazine reading. She liked that whole gossip thing. So she falls into this show called Buy Bingo. Now, I don't understand the name. They don't really give too much context to this show other than it's women who are bisexual getting put into an island. And I guess the bingo part is, I haven't played bingo in a long time, but isn't that when someone calls out a number and you have like a card and you have to see if your number is being called, and then you get all the numbers and then you yell bingo. So how does this buy bingo work? What does that mean? Like, is there a new way of playing bingo so that's the show she's hooked on. That leads into her obsessing with this show at the same restaurant when the time that Seema was trying to figure out the 5 different men that she was dating, the conversation with her and Carrie stating that she is hate watching this show. And if you don't think that's a nod to the people who are hate watching this show, you're wrong. They're putting themselves into the script. They're telling us that they are now enjoying learning how to do hate watching, and that Carrie says, you know that you have free will. Well, that's it. You know, and we know that we have free will not to watch this show. But here's a thought, just putting it out there, something crazy. Just a thought. How about you write a show that works and that's actually good? I know. Amazing. I don't think anybody ever thought of that. Why do you want to make a show that people hate watch? And then put in the script that exact line, because you know that we are going to notice it and that we're going to say something. So she's going on about this buy bingo. And then the waitress who overhears her ranting about this buy bingo hate watch is chiming in, saying that, oh, I think this one's sexy, this one's pretty, and all this other stuff. And then the next scene is that she's back at that restaurant with Carrie, and Carrie figures out that she's stalking the waitress because she had such a connection with her when she was talking about buy bingo the first time, and that she admits it. And then, Carrie gets up to leave her so she can ask the waitress out because Miranda grew a pair of buy bingo balls to now confront and now do what she should have done before, was ask a girl out. So as Carrie leaves and buy bingo balls asks the waitress, because the waitress is constantly telling her she thinks this one is sexy, she thinks that, and they're all women, and that they too should be on the island as well. So why would she not think that she's bisexual or gay? I don't know. I would have thought the same thing, only because she proceeds to ask her out and she goes, oh no, excuse me, I'm straight, married, and I have kids. And of course, Miranda's shocked as shit, says, oh, I'm sorry, I just misunderstood. You were not wrong. The writers were writing her to be that way. And then the waitress says, well, I also watched one of the zombie shows. I've never watched any of it, but it doesn't make me a zombie. Because yes, that is the same thing. If you watch a zombie show and you meet a zombie on the street, they will mistake you for a zombie. Same thing. So when you're talking to someone about a bisexual show, it is exactly the same thing as when you start talking about the women that are hot, that why would you be mistaken for a straight person? Because I could tell you that I can look at beautiful women all the time, and I could give you the clarity of this. I always want to look like them. I do not want to lick them. Big difference. I want to know where you got your hair done, where you got your makeup done, where you got your nails done, what skincare you're wearing, what do you do for, morning routine, how many times, like that. That to me is my admiration for a beautiful person. But yeah, a zombie and a bisexual show, same thing. Why would I confuse the two? Heart palpitations again. So Miranda gets shot down by a married straight woman with kids. She proceeds to go outside with Carrie. Carrie's in her own la la land talking about some crap that I'll get into in a few minutes because that is a shit of a show of itself. And neither one of them are really talking to each other. They're just kind of sort of listening. They don't have any real friendship anymore because as Carrie is complaining about her personal drama and Miranda brings in the fact that she's now deflowered a nun and has been asking out people who are straight, confusing them for bisexual, Carrie's like, oh well, them's are the breaks. Maybe your game is not by bingo, it's Yahtzee. Okay, here we go. Yahtzee. What in the hell does that mean? I still don't even know what buying bingo is, and now you're going to throw in Yahtzee? Now you're going to confuse me even more? So she tells Carrie she has a crush on the BBC London girl, because that was a shock, and that she's afraid to ask her out because she doesn't want to ruin that. Again, projecting to the future. And that I actually like the BBC girl. I think that when I saw her stopping off at Miranda's office, and they were talking, and her chemistry, just as a person, not the chemistry between her and Miranda. I like her aesthetics. She's kind of cool. She stopped by her office and she tells her, give me some juicy details about your life. Miranda proceeds to tell her about some boring details that nobody cares about her life. And then she goes, no, I already can figure that out myself. I want something tantalizing. And then Miranda tells her that she took a nun's virginity last week. BBC girl gets up, closes the door, and she wants to hear more. And she says, so you're the Antichrist. Again, from the first time I told you the things that are said in this show. And yeah, she calls her the Antichrist and she wants to know more and she wants to know what does the devil eat. And that was the end of her scene. But this leads into Miranda telling Carrie when they were, walking and not talking to each other, just walking and talking in just random tandem things, that she has a crush on her and that she doesn't want to ask her out because she doesn't want to ruin the relationship, which is the running theme for the entire show. And Carrie says, well, give it a shot. I mean, people meet at work all the time. And that's true. But here's the thing. I don't care about this conversation. Not Carrie. Not Miranda. Because they're not talking like friends. They're not sitting down and having a conversation and listening to each other. They're just spitting out things and talking crap. And then Carrie says, okay, I have to go do something. Okay, have a great day. Bye. And that's it. There goes Miranda. So Miranda's going to ask BBC girl out. Because we didn't see that coming. At all. I need to ask, do you think that the writers either are on medication or they need to get on medication? Vote below. Because it's one or the other. I don't understand what's happening in the show. At all. Nothing. There's no writing. There's writers. There's a showrunner. There's stories. I use that term lightly. But there is no story line. There's no fluidity. There's no connection. They're just in and out, popping in and out, and just throwing these random things like. And I would say that maybe in the first season they were trying to see what sticks. But are you done? Are you not sticking to anything? Are you just like, where are you going? What's going on? What's happening? What? Clue us in. And I'm not talking about obvious clues like, oh, hate watching. Oh, you have, the ability to turn it off, or, these subtle puns and one-liners and these ridiculous half-baked storylines that intertwine to an abyss. I just want to understand how all this connects to them. Who are your friends? Who are the people in your neighborhood? Like, I don't understand. Nothing. I don't want to understand. That's the worst part. Because if at least if it was interesting and intriguing, I would say, maybe I can get into this. Nope. I'm not. I had minimal hope, and now it's slowly falling off a cliff. Still here, and we still have Carrie. Oh my God. Ding dong, number 1. Carrie. Not just Carrie. Carrie and the rats. Carrie and Aiden. Carrie and Shu. And Carrie and the gardener. All in this one episode. How they stuck that all in there, I have no idea. So, in the opening, and Lisette. In the opening scene, Carrie is wearing her outfit that actually looks predominantly normal for a change. She's meeting Lisette, her neighbor that she let buy her apartment at probably a very good deal. And they are meeting at a bar. And Lisette is starting to complain about her dating scene and that she's more likely dating her phone than anything else, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. And she gets upset and she throws the phone into the crowd behind her. And I don't know what this scene is supposed to mean, but then I guess what it happens after, she doesn't go get her phone. She gives Carrie a necklace instead that symbolizes the number of her apartment, which was 245, on the necklace. Carrie is telling her that she feels blessed that she's living in the Gramercy mansion and that it was built in 1840. Lisette says, oh my God, who's its doctor? It looks amazing. It has cracks. And that for some reason, Lisette believes that she thinks that dating back then must have been much easier. Have you picked up a book ever? Jane Austen? Anything? There's nothing in any history book that I am aware of that has ever said that dating in the 18 anything was easier for women. They suffered. It was one of two things. Either you were of the elite and you were forced to marry whatever crackpot came your way if they had money, because you were considered a burden to your family if you were not married by the age of 15, or you were a prostitute. Somewhere in between are the people who didn't have money and they found their way to each other, but that was pretty much the range. Have you picked up a book? Have you read anything? I don't know why they interjected that line, but I almost choked out of my chair. I'll say, first of all, I would never want to be alive at that time. Okay? But she thinks that it's easier than what's dating now because, everything is by phone. Then get off the fucking phone. Well, apparently she did because she threw the phone. Okay. So this whole thing is leading into the book that Carrie is going to write, which is all part of the genre of the 1800s. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. So as the date between them goes on, the guy that got clocked in the head by the phone, just happens to be a guy, comes up to them and starts to flirt with them. And I don't know, something giblets. Now, I haven't been out in the drinking scene I am a apple martini girl on the few times that I do go out. I don't make it at home, but that's my drink of choice. It was never a cosmopolitan. And because I'm a diabetic, I have to be very, very careful what my intake is. So I had presumed that giblets is the new thing. Have I checked it? No, I don't care. But let's go with giblets is the new drink of choice. Anybody there that understands this, comment below. Yes, I drink that all the time. Good for you. So he's flirting, and I don't know, something was said that she was ghosted by a psychiatrist that was supposed to take her on a date, which, again, fair warning, is that not a red flag? And suddenly he offers to pretend to listen to her like a psychiatrist. And I guess that's how people flirt nowadays. I guess it's better than swiping left and right on the phone. So the moral of this scene is that you go to a bar, you clock somebody in the head with your phone, you hope and pray it's a guy who doesn't want to sue you, who's straight, and is going to buy you a giblet. Run. Go forth. And then come back and let me know how that works. Next scene with Carrie. She's in her garden of Eden, writing the start of her new book, which is going to be in the time frame of 1846, where she believes that this house, she was dreaming of all the women who have come in and lived there. And I can tell you that if that was the case, they all came in and tried to commit suicide, because that time frame was not good. They didn't own the house. They couldn't own anything. So you can fantasize all the hell you want, fake Jane Austen, but I don't want to read this book. Don't give me a fantasy land of 1846 and tell me that this woman was starting her new life again. No. So as she's sitting there writing, she sees a squirrel. That didn't scare her. Yet there was an episode that I believe, that she was always scared of rats. It wasn't the squirrel. The squirrel goes into one of the bushes. I guess it was murdered, because all you hear is screaming, and then a parade of very clean rats. Because if you've ever seen a rat in New York, yes, they're pretty big, but they are the equivalent of a raccoon. These rats were well trained, clean, and she runs up the stairs in her heels, screaming. And next scene, she is, and the only thing I can think of is where's Shu? Because Shu's not going to be able to fight off these rats. That was my concern. I could not care less what the hell Carrie did. So now she's talking into her phone, leaving a text for Aiden. Now, I have to ask everyone who's tech savvy. I don't know if she has an Apple phone. I have an Android phone, which I'm recording on, believe it or not. And I didn't know you can do that text to speech. Is that an iPhone thing? Is that like an app or something? Because it took me at least 3 times to watch to understand what she was doing. And I don't know if it's part of a feature of a phone. And everything is period, exclamation point. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why? It's the first time I was like, what is going on? Yes, I know I'm a ding dong. Okay, I'll call myself ding dong number 4. I didn't know that you had that for texting, because we've gotten to a point that texting is now voicing. So great app, I guess. I don't know. Let me know. And she's just sending all these, exclamation points and commas and talking about our garden. Now, I am going to put something in the screen that's remnants of my older videos for my older subs who know when they see this reference. Okay? Because that's going to bring you back. And it is called red flags. Red flags. Red flags. Red flags. Danger. Who is this ours? Who's this we? We who? Are who? Are you not on a 5-year plan? Right? No communication other than disgusting phone sex? So when you're talking about our garden, is he paying half the bills in this house? Did he put a down payment to this house? Is he hiding in the bushes in this house? Did he bring the rats from his farm to this house? Because that would make sense. So I don't know where this we and who and ours and all this shit that she's talking about. She decides to not send the text. And then the next scene, you see her looking at the necklace that Lizette gave her. And then she gets scared because Shu comes at her and she thought that Shu was a rat. She does her Carrie squeak, eek. I can't do it because I just don't have the fake, I'm exhausted. And then she turns around and Aiden shows up and he screams his Hollywood scream that was so fake that I was like, what is happening? What's going on? And then they both laugh. And then he says, I felt bad for leaving you the way I did the last time you called, aka I tried to have phone sex with you, but my grown-ass child was in the bed, so I could not do it. And that the kids are with Kathy for a night, so he flew up to be with her for a whole entire night. One day. So we've moved from not communicating, sending postcards with no messages, phone sex, and now we're flying up for a night. Great. He picks her up, takes her to the bedroom. So all of this was because he couldn't have phone sex, so now he wants real sex. They throw Shu out the room. And then the next scene you have with them is that she's reading a newspaper in her kitchen, eating toast. I did not know that people still deliver a newspaper. She could have gotten up in her towel and picked up a newspaper. That's possible. But maybe people are still being delivered newspapers. And there is some weird conversation between them about she doesn't know what to make of all this, though you had sex with him. So I don't know what you're not making out of because you had sex with him. You didn't ask that before. You were just happy that he picked you up and took you to the bedroom like Scarlett O'Hara and that scene. If you ever saw Gone with the Wind. The next day you decide to have this conversation with your mans. That is, I don't know if he's paying your bills with you in your home. That how should we proceed vis-a-vis relationship? Are we talking? Are we texting? Can I call you? What's going on? What's happening? And he says that he's a little lost too, though he was the one with the plan, that he felt guilty about what would happen, so he may have exaggerated. So they're slowly backing track Thanos and the 5-year snap. And all of a sudden, he says, sure, you can text me, you can call me. And then they go into this banter of, well, are you always going to pick up the phone? Are the lines going to be put on hold? Some crap that it was just, this is not a real conversation you have with someone that you're sharing a home with. And he's like, well, you may get some music. Who talks like that? Music. So what does that mean? I'm going to be put on hold? And I'm going to have elevator music on hold if I try to call you? And I'm the one asking all these questions alone. Because if I was in the room with them, I would be like, I need this in writing and I need it to be very clarified and I need it notarized, stamped, and read by an attorney. Yep, that's what I would do. Because at the end, I didn't get any resolution from these two. He says, sure, we can text, we can talk. I don't know if he's going to be flying in for a booty call or I don't know what the hell to call that. And she says, okay. That makes me happy. What makes you happy? What? I had to go back 3 times. I'm like, there's nothing in there that tells me what is this relationship. But Carrie, you're happy. You're happy that he came by, plugged you, told you that he may have been exaggerating and that he's available now by text. What you doing, Carrie? What you doing? This is where Karen Walker will come in and be like, The hell's wrong with you? You do not do that for no mans. But they're going to continue this farce. So we got to continue this madness. Then there's a scene where Aiden picks up Shu because Shu is trying to escape the house. And I only bring this up because the line that happens afterward was what I was thinking in my head. He asks Carrie, why does Shu keep trying to escape? And the only thing that popped in my head was because the cat is smarter than the rest of this crew and this show and these writers and these people who are in the show. The cat's no fool. He wants out. He wants out. Get out. Run far. Until I had a thought in my mind because Carrie has decided to completely rip out her garden in the back, rightfully so. We didn't know that we had a family of rats living in the bushes, murdering other defenseless animals. She starts to talk to a rat exterminator, and she wants the strongest, deadliest poison available to make sure that this never happens again. And I bring this up because I said, oh my God, they're going to kill Shu. They're going to kill Shu. I was waiting for the entire time after this for the shoe to drop. What? I can't make funny puns? They're the only ones that can do the same thing? What, I'm not allowed to say something funny? Well, I did. Shoe to drop. I was like, if they kill this cat off, I'm done. I draw the line. You can kill the characters. You can kill the costumes. You can kill the writers, but you don't kill the animals. That's where I was going to draw the line. And it was almost like that for a while. Like after that scene where she's talking to the rat guy, she goes to the restaurant and, Aiden leaves for his one-night booty call because that's what we do now. We just get a one-night flight. And she writes to Aiden the next morning through her voice texting apparatus to show him that she wants to pick out, because here we go with the French, we need furniture in our home. Okay. You don't have him in it. So she texts him this godforsaken ugly table, and that's just my preference. It could be nice. I don't care. It just didn't look like her or him or anything. And then all he responds is with a thumbs down. So the rest of the time between him leaving and the rat infestation, she's complaining to Seema and Miranda that his response to the agreed operation of communication is not with a text back. It's with an emoji, thumbs down. And she's offended by it, and so yeah, that's what's happening with her. She's not happy with the fact that she got what she thought she wanted and agreed to him texting and calling when it's important, and that it never was reciprocal, that even though she can send a 20-page verbal text through her apparatus of speaking into it with exclamation points, commas, periods, whatever the hell she's doing, that he would be as responsive and passionate, because all men do that. They respond with a 20-page dissertation right back. And she didn't clarify that he needs to give the same passionate response when she writes them. So she finds a guy named Adam to do her garden that was destroyed by the murderous rats, and they had to take everything out. Adam, she goes back home after she meets with Miranda in the walkway of no talking scene to meet Adam. And she gets in, and Poison Ratman is in the house, and she asks where Shu is, and I said, that's it, they killed Shu. Because if you're putting poison down, isn't that part of, shouldn't, like, Wouldn't the cat be affected? I'm just asking. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just kept waiting for Shu to die. And she finds out that Shu has left the building, like Elvis. Obviously didn't get far enough. She runs outside the gate, and Adam, the garden man, has picked up her Shu and says he found her at the gate looking guilty. Guilty of what? Because she couldn't get out of the gate? Maybe. And I don't want to say there was a flirtation between them because I didn't get that sense. But again, I could have been blind and just exhausted from watching this 18,000 times. And he has a shirt that says dead weight. She insists on finding out what that frame of reference is. And I've seen a lot of t-shirts with funny wording and stuff like that. I've never really given a furry rat's behind what that means. I don't go around asking people these questions. I'm a true New Yorker. I don't give a shit. I just don't. It's your words. Unless you're willing to want to tell me to explain it. I don't care. I really don't. But I guess that there's nothing else to talk about with said Adam. And he gives her back the cat, Shu. They go back in her garden. It's kind of funny. He goes, what the hell? What the F happened here? These rats must have been hungry. And she again asks about the stupid t-shirt. Who gives a shit about the stupid freaking t-shirt? And he explains that it was a band that he was in and that he used to own a shop. And then, I don't know, something about a native New Yorker is rare these days. And then I don't know. And then he says, enough about me. Thank God. And what do you want, Carrie? Oh my God, I don't think anybody's ever asked her that. Because she literally didn't know how to answer it. I don't know. And he goes, well, I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. And the only thing that I can remember her saying was, well, here's the thing. I liked it the way it was before, and now it's not the same. So I don't know what I want to do. And I can only guess that somebody in the writer's room, Michael Package King, and everybody else is feeling the same way. So they do these stupid storylines because they don't know what to do at all. And the guy says, that's great that you don't know. That means that you're open to possibilities, and whatever's supposed to come in is supposed to come in. So then she picks up Shu. She narrates some crap about her bustle lifting her leg because she's narrating the scene that she's going to write for her 1846 debacle, and that the possibilities are not going to be endless as I go up the iron stairs. And she looks at the guy outside, Adam, and I don't think that they're going to be together. I think that's going to be Seema's new beau. And just like that, scene ends. This was not easy. I could not gather my thoughts, not even up to this morning, of what in the hell am I going to do with this video. It was, they were talking to the fans by saying hate watching. I got a lot of different puns in there that were thrown into the scene. I don't understand what they're planning to do with any of these characters. And it's not even the worst of it. I don't care. And here we are. And just like that. So I'm capping this video off with a couple of things that I want to say. I am so internally grateful for all the amazing comments, love, new subscribers for my last video. I did not expect any of this at all. I didn't know that my sense of humor was going to resonate with so many people. And I am truly blessed because I am who I am. And this is me. And for those who have went back now and watched my older videos, not my subs that stayed with me, you pretty much know how I am just throughout my videos. And just to give you some context, you know, some of it call it deadpan or dry humor. Yeah, I think I can't understand that because I grew up watching Bob Hope and Lucy Ball. Abbott and Costello, Bing Cosby and Bob Hope, Carol Burnett. The Carol Burnett show was my jam. All of those great comedians, and I think somehow, I lean towards more the deadpan type of humor. So it kind of like, it's my aesthetic and it's natural for me, right? Like if I was a comedian, I couldn't go up to a stage and be like a funny person, right? I would be more deadpan humor type of person. So it's just natural for me and it comes from my heart. So how it resonated with so many of you and all of the amazing comments, I cannot, there was a slew of them. I'm going to go back and finish answering the ones from my other video while I finish up this video. And thank you. I am at a very crosshair of my life right now. I'm going to be, as I said, I did the math. I am going to be 56 in the fall. And, it's one of those times of my life where I need to figure out what I want to do, where I want to go. And, I know that I want to do something more on this channel other than this show once this show finishes. And whoever stays with me, thank you. Whoever's here because of this and stays with me after, thank you. And, I just have to say that, yes, I am crying. Aging is a privilege, not a right. And even though it's a privilege, it's not easy. I have my insecurities too. Suddenly now I have severe back pains as I get up in the morning. I don't know what's going on back there. I gotta go check it out. I have neck wrinkles, like I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not blind, but I feel blessed because if you've ever had loss, not just from older people that have passed away in your life, but younger people that have passed away in your life, you know that this whole process of growing up and seeing your loved ones and being there is a privilege. We're not guaranteed anything, especially life. So I'll take the punches with the aging. It's not going to be easy, but I'm here because I can see my son grow up. He's 30. He's a grown ass man, not in my bed. And he's going to have a family. And if God willing, I will be there for it too, So I think that I am going to pivot my life very soon. And I know that this camera setting, this way I'm doing things is going to be a huge part because I grew up wanting to be part of journalism. So I love to talk on camera. It doesn't bother me. So I have to stick to the things I can be comfortable. And I hope that everyone is here with me for the ride. I was thinking about doing a podcast, but I still need to understand the complexity of that. Then there's other things like Patreon and Discords. And I'm kind of like learning all this stuff because the shift that I'm making is going to be a huge shift in my life. And, I haven't decided if I want to do vlogs yet, but I am going to answer some questions in another video about my skin, my routine, my this and that, because I have some interesting introspective things about that. And I don't know if you guys are interested in that. If I get 20 comments that want me to do a video like that, sort of like a vlog style, I'll do it. I don't think a lot of people are going to view it, but I'll do it. I do work on my other channel, which I haven't worked because I'm focusing on this channel right now. It's called Timeless New York City, where it's me, my Lena 2.0 AI generated voice, but the scripting is there. I review a lot of TV shows that I still watch and I enjoy. It's got 2,000 subs, and I think some of you have migrated over there as well. Thank you for that. It's just recaps and reviews of shows. Right now, I'm heavy into Chicago PD, and that's it. So, I appreciate everyone, and I enjoy talking to everyone. And sorry, there was a phone call that came in as I was recording. So if you saw me like stopping, it's because I'm looking at the phone call. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really want to make a go of this. I really enjoy it. I don't enjoy watching shows that I love that are bad, but I understand their need to be honesty and transparency and not just placate these shows to make it seem like they're great. So I hope you enjoyed this video. God help us. I don't know what's going to happen in episode 3. I saw a sneak peek. I still don't understand what's happening. But if you enjoyed this one, like, comment, subscribe, and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Thank you. Goodbye.